Greetings and welcome, everyone. It's an All You Can Geek Moviecast. I'm one of your hosts, Jim Gast, joined by Mike Sneedy,
What's up?
Corey Feinsod,
Aloha.
and Tony Korkanakis.
Yo.
Welcome, guys. Welcome, listeners. Welcome, viewers. We are live right now on Twitch. Tuesday night, starting 8 o'clock-ish. It's 8:07-ish. We have sometimes technical difficulties. It's okay. 8 o'clock-ish Eastern time. If you can't catch these, and we're live because I just got notified because I subscribe on Twitch. If you do miss these live broadcasts and you can't join us, which is, I'd love to hear from you guys. We'd all love to hear from you guys. Go over to YouTube, subscribe there. That way you get notified when we post there, and we'd love to hear from you. So leave us a comment, give us a like. It always helps us out. So this is our TV shows of last year, our best. So this episode is dedicated to just going over our top three TV shows that we watched last year, our most disappointing, our most surprising. So we're gonna do that like we did last week. We did our movies last week. So we're gonna do this for TV. I apologize. I'm getting a text message right now. I had to answer. But yes, so this is the TV best of for us. It doesn't mean it's the best shows that were ever on TV this year.
Of the year for our...
Yeah, it's what we watched.
It doesn't mean it's best, but it's our best. Our favorites.
Yeah.
Yes.
Also our disappointing and our
I
surprises.
know disappointing, which I'm...
Yes.
Let me get my list going here. Oh, I did it already. Look at this last week. Look at this. I set up the page already last week for us. So we can get right started.
There's only one
like I said,
time that I've ever gone back and been like, you know what, I was wrong. And that was with Godzilla -1. Like, that was for the movies, though.
Yeah.
Because I was like, that should have been my number one that year.
I over the year, like when you look back, like you're like, how is that my movie of the year? It has happened a few times, but TV shows for me this year, and I'll kick us off with disappointing. I think we're gonna start with that. I always like to start with the worst and then work our way up the list. But like TV shows this year for me fell into a category that was like instantaneous. I don't know why. I had my number one, my number two, and my number three, and they never changed. So my most disappointing show of last year was Cobra Kai.
Okay.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I was split on this because only the 1/3 of it came out in 2025, but that was bad. Like that was a bad third.
Because
I didn't even watch it because you guys kept saying how bad it was. So.
it's the same retread, and like I don't think I counted it last year. That's why I put it in this one. But like it just like didn't need the season, and it is like a retread. They constantly tell the same story, and it's fine for 5 seasons. This is season 6. I'm finally getting just like I just got tired of it. Like and I love this universe. Like I'm a huge Karate Kid fan. In fact, I just bought Karate Kid Part 2 the other day when it was on sale for $7. So I picked that up on digital. I was really happy because I like that movie a lot. Maybe not so much Karate Kid 3, but 1 and 2 I really do enjoy. And it was just such a bummer.
Kid, does she not count?
No, I never really watched that. I did watch it once. So I don't know if I've given it a fair shot. I should check it out, but I haven't seen the new one yet. But this show, I was really like, I think I mentioned it almost every year we're on these podcasts and we do these.
Welcomes. Yeah.
Yeah. I also keep saying like I wish it could win like of the years, but it never makes my top list.
The first year,
and
I
guess
I think it made my list, but I can't remember. The first season
Talked
was
about it.
amazing.
We definitely have talked about it on one of these. Yeah.
we have, but it's like I don't know if it was surprising or I don't know, but I just know that I was always bummed that it never made the top for me. But yeah, I mean, that was my disappointing. Mike, what would be your disappointing?
Okay, so here comes my qualifiers.
Yes, you don't watch shows.
Yeah, this year was mostly about me purging streaming services from
Ah.
my accounts. So
Mhm.
not a lot's going on. So I'm going to cheat a little bit for some
Okay.
of these, and So because there's really only 2 qualifiers for me, for real. I'm bending some rules that I off air made last week. I'm directly contradicting myself amongst these guys if they heard me talking after the podcast last week for the inclusion of a certain show. But anyway, that has nothing to do with this, other than the fact that you may hear it within my top 3, but it's still my most disappointing because there's really was only one show that I was anticipating this year, and that was Daredevil Born Again. And I liked it early, and then I hated how it ended.
Yeah.
After a certain turn where it's hard to really go into without the spoilers. It set itself up to be way more exciting than it ended up being. And I felt the Disney taking over this sort of Netflixy property, like it wanted to go hard, it wanted to go like, R-rated, but I think it like prioritized the wrong things in doing that in a few ways. I still liked it, and it'll be in my top 3 for sure. You'll hear me talk about it more. But
You wanted it to be
as
better.
far as what I anticipated, especially like, maybe 1/3 through actually watching it, it ended, pretty rough, which is going to make another thing that I'm going to mention later not the same seem hypocritical, but whatever.
Okay. All right. Tony, what was your disappointing?
Thankful I get to be the first one to say these words on the podcast for this episode, but I gotta say Stranger Things. I mean,
I had no hype for that going into this year. So
Yeah.
no. I mean, my expectations were low, but at the same time, the fact that it's ending a near decade-long saga, right? I just wanted to see it nail the landing, like in most regards, not all, right? Because that's impossible, or close to impossible. But this is one of the things where I consider like the first 3 episodes or the first 4, like the first part, right? Whatever, was good.
Half, yeah.
The second half was shit, and then the same thing with finale. Half it was good, and the other half was shit. So I'm just like, well, it's half good and half shit. So that's my disappointing, right? Because there were just so many
half great. It was just half
right, good. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I got you.
Like there were a couple moments that were great, but like the most of it was just fine, right to good.
Yeah, the cons outweigh the pros.
Exactly, and just the fact that I don't know, they threw the plot points they chose to focus on were so weird. The whole Holly thing was weird, and I'm sorry, I know it's only a month old or so at this point, but spoilers if you're listening to this and you haven't seen the Stranger Things finale yet. We have a whole spoiler cast, so we won't get too into it. But like, just the fact that like they threw a new POV from us that had more time than any of the other individual characters that we followed for all the seasons. The fact that the plot points were just kind of like none of them were really resolved satisfactory in my opinion. Just because it's like, I guess that is where we're going with this. And just the plot armor that the main characters had in that, oh, look, a Demogorgon will, like, chomp a soldier's head off. No problem. But it's like, any of the main characters, like, whoa, I scratched you there. Oh no, that's a shame,
These people that are trained for their life.
have been in military combat.
Oh my gosh.
Right, exactly. All of a sudden, the Mind Flayer has worse resistance to bullets and fire than the Demogorgons do. That doesn't make sense, but yeah, it was just it's not quite Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones is probably still one of the worst endings I've ever seen, but just in terms of what I wanted and what we got, disappointing.
Yeah. And like I said, we did a whole spoiler cast on that, folks, so go check it out. We did pick that apart quite a bit. So cool. All right, Corey, you're disappointing.
Not cool, but
not cool.
No, you are not gonna hear me say those words at all tonight. So, my most disappointing is Stranger. I was about to say it. Squid Game. Squid Game.
There we
You
go.
are gonna hear me say it, but it's still
Ooh. Yeah.
That
I forgot really about that one.
No, hold on, Corey. I have to ask you because this is important. Are we talking season 2 or season 3?
3.
Okay.
Squid Game 3.
Because both of them came out last year. Just FYI.
Squid Game 3. I guess I said part 2, which is really not part 2. It's 3. Stranger Things 3. But 3 specifically, the characters were not as good in general, in my opinion, as the first season. The games weren't as fun or iconic as the first season. The interactions and relationships that the characters have didn't feel as meaningful as the first season. Everything about it was worse. And then the ending, again, it's an ending, right? It's like, seriously, like the whole thing about this was just like not what this was about. And so like, what are we doing here? There was so much hype for this. Again, like we with Stranger Things, I'm gonna say it, I guess, but there was so much hype and like anticipation. Same thing here. I felt like that there was just as much, but it was more recent. You know, you didn't have to wait as long, so maybe it didn't feel as bad.
And that's exactly my point, because I almost put down Squid Games as well. And if I had to wait 10 years to see this conclusion, and I'm pretty sure I even said it on a previous podcast, I was like,
you did, yeah.
You know, the fact that it came out so quickly after season 2,
that was a positive. Sure.
It was a positive, right? Because I was like, look, if it's gonna be bad, at least it's over and done with. It's not these, it's gonna be 5 years until the next season, like, and then we get that. It's like, oh, okay, sure.
But I mean, Netflix is gonna have a lot of stuff on here. We're gonna talk a lot of Netflix shows. So right now we've got 4 for 4.
Yeah, we have actually, haven't we? Well, Daredevil was a Netflix show, and now it's Disney Plus. But I got you. Yeah, no, Squid Game. Disappointing, definitely. I actually forgot season 3 was out last year. Even like I almost blocked it, but I'm still sticking with my Cobra Kai.
Last year also.
Yeah, I'm still sticking with my Cobra Kai just because of like the feeling I got from watching that show. I'm just like, this bummer, you know, just a bummer.
No, it's really disappointing.
Yeah. Okay.
And like the fact that they're gonna do an American one and like they end it with just makes no sense.
Like, that was so bad. They swear that wasn't to tie into the American version. They swear it.
Bullshit.
Right. You get a big name actor.
I know. I know.
Bullshit. You're gonna play a Korean game that nobody knows in America.
Exactly.
Some random people. Like, sure.
All right, our surprise for 2025 for TV shows. I would love to have mentioned this. I put this on this immediately because I want to mention it on the podcast. Murderbot, absolutely loved it on Apple TV Plus. Very big surprise this year for me because it was not even close to being something I would check out. Very happy I did though. I was laughing during it. I thought it was just a funny premise, and then it's also got some sci-fi stuff, which is right up my alley. A lot of sci-fi stuff. But I really enjoyed that show, and I thought every episode was a hit for it. They didn't have any filler stuff. It was 8 episodes, and it was Alexander Skarsgård is I believe the Murderbot, if I remember right. So one of the Skarsgårds. It's Alexander, I believe.
There's a few of them.
Who's the one from Blood? The True Blood.
Bloodborne?
True Blood, the show on HBO.
Sure, it's that guy.
Whatever that guy was, same guy. He's great as the android, the robot. So really love the premise. It's about a robot who overrides his. He can hurt people. They have like a chip in them. He overrides his chip to. Yeah, be able to do whatever he wants. But then he realizes that he can't reveal that to people, so he tries to be like a robot that's under control. Like he tries to fool people into it, and it's just
iRobot all over again.
Yeah, and he ends up watching a lot of TV. So it's really good. All right. That's my surprise. Let's see, Mike. Surprise?
Okay, so here's my biggest stretch. It's not exactly a TV show. It's TV adjacent. It's a podcast, but there is video.
Okay.
And I will say my big surprise is Mythfits podcast.
Mythfits?
This is the build team from Mythbusters, Carrie and Tori, because unfortunately Grant passed away.
Yeah.
But they started a podcast up, put a lot out this year, and basically they talk about Mythbusters, like behind the scenes stuff. Obviously, like 15 years later, but it's pretty cool seeing them come back and talk up that stuff. And it is video, and some of them you kind of do need to see the video, which I've noticed because I typically listen to these on my commutes, but then I've watched them also at home because I show some clips from the shows and even some behind the scenes stuff from the shows. So yeah, I liked seeing them back and hearing their new perspectives, because we've had Adam Savage. He's talked a lot about it, but he's just one point of view.
Yeah, he's like a creator. He's the founder of the show, so yeah more of a biased opinion.
But I always kind of liked the B team a little more. They were younger and more fun. I thought for the most part. Now they're like 50, but it was a cool, surprising thing, and I definitely got a lot of commutes and then like at home dinners covered by them this year. So that was a surprise. If I did watch it, it was on a TV. So, And again, it is TV.
Golden Globes had a podcast category this past year, or this year.
Yeah. All right. So that'll be a prize. Yep.
All right. Tony.
Mine's gonna be Daredevil, Born Again, and not in the sense that it was all a hit, right? I'm sure we'll talk about it a little bit more. Yeah. But for the time that it took from the Netflix series to this, I mean, so much could have gone way wrong, right? Like on paper, this should have been an absolute disaster, in my opinion, right? Because it's like, how many times? Like, I can't think of a time a TV show has done this where it's like been so many years between the last season and the new season, and it's got this weird job of like, hey, integrating more into a central universe, right? So on paper, I think this should have been an absolute disaster. And for me, it was like, I would say like 70% good and like, 20 to 30% like, okay, that's weird to bad, right? I think it starts off really strong. And then there's that one bank episode, which is kind of like, I didn't mind it, but it just felt out of place. And I do think the ending kind of hurt in the sense that I hate when they're like, kind of like with Stranger Things, right? It's like, we're going to end on a cliffhanger and you're going to have to wait years to see the resolution, right?
There was, the bank episode isn't even something I really even ding it much for, although it is clear that was from the first draft.
Yeah.
But there was a certain other cliffhanger that happened near the end that got me like fully excited, and then every decision afterwards when they came back from that, I'm like, it wasn't that interesting. It was not the way I wanted it to go.
Right. Yeah. But from what I expected, I would say Daredevil, / Matt Murdock is like mostly really good. Seeing him back on screen, seeing any of the
old show,
right, and any of the returning characters, right? Yeah. Seeing any of the returning characters. I mean, God, remember the point where they're like, "Hey, we're not gonna have Foggy and Karen in the show." It's like, what? Like that's the point where I'm like, the whole show. Fucking cancel this. Then why are we doing this, right? But I'm so happy that they did get him back because anytime they were together, well, we'll get to that.
Karen back mostly, but.
But I'm including.
It's good to have them.
I'm including Punisher in that too. So, those are the good parts. And Kingpin, great. Still.
I mean, even Bullseye.
Bullseye.
Yeah, that's right.
That's crazy. So, I was so surprised that it wasn't more of a disaster. If that's a thing, I liked it, enjoyed it. It's good. It's not making my top 3 spoiler, but I was surprised that it wasn't a like trash fire, like dumpster fire
disaster.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and we had that run Disney Plus shows that were letting us down a lot of times. So this could have easily been one of those shows again. But yeah, they did good. Corey, your surprise.
All right, my surprise is Marvel Zombies. So Marvel Zombies,
you were talking this up,
the cartoon. It was really very solid. Like because we had like a zombie episode in the What If, but they definitely fleshed out. Well, they had a whole story here and a season of it, and it just like left and right. You see these heroes just getting murked and destroyed, and the zombie versions of these characters are crazy. And it's like there's a very early scene of 2 very strong heroes that are just constantly battling each other out. They're just, one's a zombie, one's just like focused on trying to kill it, and it's like they're just destructive, super destructive. You get to see these characters unleash their full power with no restrictions on human life because everyone's pretty much dead. So it's interesting, and it does focus on some of the younger casts, that like a New Avengers type of cast potentially, but even them, they're not safe, right? So that was great because nobody in this show was safe, and you're like, oh, cool, we'll get to see X character, and then like, oh, well, not for that long, I guess. They're not here anymore. And Scarlet Witch is a great villain. Like we saw her in the live action version, she's even better as this villain here. So
absolutely,
cool.
She was a villain in Marvel Rivals too, the PvE mode. She was the last boss.
Oh, there you go. Yeah,
never beaten the allegations.
There you go. Yeah, no, it was a good, solid show. You recommended it. I watched it. I really enjoyed it. So the whole story they unfolded for us. It was good. And like you said, it was just like, who's gonna make it? I don't know. So, cool. All right, that is our disappointing and surprises. It is time for our top 3 TV shows of 2025. I'm going to kick us off, and Tony, I apologize.
You're sealing it. You're sealing it?
It's my number 3.
Oh.
Yeah, it's not that high. It's high. Last Samurai Standing is my number 3 show of 2025.
Nice. This is my number 3 as well, so we can talk about it.
Oh, good. We can talk on this. Yeah. I didn't know if you were going to rank it higher, but it was because it was so good. It's so good. It could be higher. It really could be. We've talked about this. Like, this is an incredible visual. I can't believe how good it looked visually. Mm-hmm. But then they got such good acting, and it takes a story that I love from the Kenshin series. It's kind of a similar story. It's its own thing. Don't get me wrong, and I've said that multiple times. And they do it so well. That's the idea. Like, I love that story, that style. Some of these characters are similar, and it's because it's based on characters that were either around there or
existed.
Yes, yeah. So I just ate this thing up. Once I finally sat down and watched it from Tony's recommendation again, I had to. But I watched this faster.
No, I know. I was about to say, I'm glad you watched it like pretty shortly after.
This year.
Yeah.
It was. They gave me a good trailer too, because it got me like you recommended it. Yeah, you got me. You recommended it, and then Netflix gave me a trailer. I'm like, I think I'm gonna love this thing. This looks like Kenshin. So yeah.
Yep.
So, but yeah, I loved it. Tony, go ahead. You're number 3.
Yeah, it's crazy because this is almost my surprise. If I didn't care so much about Daredevil, because I do think that's one of the greatest Netflix shows of all time, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. This would have been my surprise just because it came out of nowhere. Like I was. Like I told you guys, like I usually watch something while I'm doing chores and or cooking and eating, and stuff like that. So there's one day that's like Netflix recommends or thinks you'd be interested in this. I'm like, what the hell is this? Last Samurai Standing, and I click on it and I watch that preview and I'm like, oh shit, like this is right up my alley. And just like you said, it's gripping right from the get go. Like they pull at your heartstrings first, right? They got to set the tragic setting and background history of that era. With Meiji, and then it's just right into like, hey, this is the premise of the show, and enjoy, right? Which is like Rurouni Kenshin meets Battle Royale or Squid Games or whatever you want to
say. Battle Royale, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, whatever you want to talk about. And he just never lets up. Like there are quiet moments, don't get me wrong, but there's always some tension when because things could happen at any point, right? That one time where they walk into an establishment and like it just goes to shit real quick. It's like, oh, okay, so like. Nowhere is safe, Yeah,
no one's safe. Like you can't even conversations they have, and I'm like, I don't know if I trust that guy.
One of the dudes that I thought was going to be like a mainstay contender just died in the second episode. Like what? I kind of wanted to see more of what he had to offer, but I guess it wasn't much.
They hyped him up too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I really can't wait to see what they bring for more of this. But
exactly. But like you said, the actors. Most of the noteworthy Japanese actors seem to be in this in some kind of role. I mean, the main character is the one who I believe directed it. So he had blood in the game, stakes in the game.
I had no idea he directed it.
I believe so.
That's crazy. That's awesome.
He's part of the in that. So he has a stake, claim in the game. But yeah, and the visual effects, the fighting, the choreography was just fantastic.
Choreography is great.
And I mean that last episode too, where it's the big showdown, I could watch that all day long. We're just damn, this is intense.
Yeah, I mean even mild spoilers. There's sword versus gun at some point in this thing, and it was just incredible that sequence. You're just I think my jaw might have been down then. I was like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. Mm-hmm. It is a great. I mean, wow. Yeah, easily could have been a surprise. I really wanted to get Murderbot out there.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
It could have easily been a surprise. So it's great. So, all right. Let's see, Mike, you're number 3.
Number 3 is Stranger Things season 5, which isn't necessarily good because it's lower than what I ranked my disappointment. It's fine to me. That's kind of how I feel overall. It didn't really destroy anything, but it didn't add much.
I think the finale was mostly good. So
the finale was mostly good. They like I said when I watched it on that spoiler cast, I think they did about the best they could with the sort of where they wrote themselves into with the situation.
If it wasn't for the
Behind
epilogue,
it.
I would have had way more negative impressions.
Okay.
And it's funny because some people really didn't like that epilogue. They're like, "Oh, nothing happens the last half hour." I'm like, "You got
That's an epilogue.
Like an hour. It's like an hour.
That's what an epilogue is.
Yeah, you gotta have, it's from 10 years of stuff. You gotta sort of have a denouement.
Yeah.
You have to come down from the climax there.
Yeah.
But it at least it got me watching it again. I was worried coming into this year that I wouldn't care at all anymore because it's been so long. So the fact that I went episode to episode and kept up with it and had some hopes, and it was fine. And it wasn't good. It was kind of silly. There's a bunch of weird stuff that happened that
Yeah.
raises an eyebrow, and the consistencies we talked about earlier. But it's still fun. It still closed it out somewhat, satisfyingly. And
I want to say they nailed the landing, but they didn't crash and burn. So
No, that's the thing. Like it's like you said,
wasn't like
Game of Thrones. It's not Game of Thrones.
it wasn't that, and it also wasn't like what was the last sequel trilogy one called in Star Wars?
The Rise of Skywalker. Yeah.
Rise of Skywalker. It wasn't that one. When that ended, I was just waiting for the end. So I'm like, I'll just have them end it so they don't screw anything else up. That was my thought.
Yeah, where they get
It wasn't quite that bad. Yeah, my number 3.
Speaking of real quick, did you guys see this past week on SNL they had the
I saw that sketch. Yeah.
Some of the jokes they did was crazy.
They didn't have Noah Schnapp or whatever his name is.
Fuck Noah.
Yeah, who knows what he's.
Well, they did a joke about the scene.
Yeah.
Anyways.
All right. Corey, your number 3.
My number 3 is Daredevil, Born Again.
Nice.
Daredevil. I mean,
Nice
like
place.
you guys mentioned a little bit, they pulled it off, and there was definitely a moment when we were like, "Is this actually gonna be good?" Because everything we're hearing is bad, and then we had the little guest appearance on She-Hulk, which was not that like what we wanted from Daredevil. It's like, is this the Daredevil we're gonna get in the MCU now? But no, they did have, like, they started off with a bang, like literally just like right in, and that kind of set the tone for the show. And yeah, there was definitely some down episodes where you're like, why is this even here? Like, you can just cut this and it won't even matter. But at the same time, the overall package we got was what I was hoping at best for. Like they got Daredevil the way that we saw him on Netflix, and it makes me excited to see season 2 and to see what he does in the future MCU.
Right. And one thing I forgot to mention was, because they did talk about the production of the, season and stuff like that. And I think they even admitted, like, hey, you're going to see parts that, even though in the first episode, like, that was actually the last shoot or the reshoot or whatever it was, right? Where it's like, it's like, okay, so, like, the good parts are, like, the thing that you worked on afterwards. So it's like, right, the most recent stuff. So it gives me hopes. It's like, you just need to take that and apply more of that, or, like, polish it a bit more like that. Like that, yes, give me more of that. So yes, I'm totally excited for the season coming up, which I think is just a month or 2, right?
Coming up real soon.
Coming up very soon,
yeah.
And Jessica Jones is back, so we'll
see. Last season we got to see the Punisher in red. I mean, that was just him calling him Red, and like that we got that sequence, and I thought
that moment between them was one of the best moments.
Yeah, it was absolutely.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, just having that reunion, so cool. Now. Number 2, let me get my list back over here. Because I went Severance. Severance, folks. I did not take the top.
We're duplicating, because that's my number 2 as well.
Well, obviously
we know we know. Yeah, I know too. Damn. Okay, that's crazy. I don't think we've ever doubled up exactly like this before. That's crazy.
I was so excited for Severance 2, and I didn't have Apple TV, and I didn't go out of my way to watch it.
Okay.
I gotta get to it at some point. Yeah. So I was like telling you, Jim, to watch this one.
You got me on the show, yeah. Tony, you watched it late. You started late on the Severance stuff, which was great because you didn't have to wait.
Yeah, because I rolled right into it. Yeah.
Yeah. For me, it was like, man, I can't wait for this to come back. I was so excited with it, and it wasn't it definitely wasn't perfect. There was some gripes I had with the thing, but it's such an amazing show that it's so weird and awkward and creepy and funny and like it's like a thriller at this. It's so the category for this thing is so weird. I can't put my finger on what it is even. How do you classify this show? It feels like Lost, and then it meets The Office, and like that's
like,
it.
Don't like the less you know, the better.
Yeah,
100%,
yeah,
100%.
absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, and I thought season 2 was a great continuation of getting that story because it was such a cliffhanger in season 1. Like, I was like, I could not wait for this season. And then even at the end of this season, it left us with a hell of a cliffhanger, and I'm like, oh man, I can't wait for season 3. But yeah, this thing, like I said, mostly delivered. The side characters on this season, I think, delivered way better than the main character for me.
Yeah.
And that's so that's awesome. Because now we have more than one main character, in my opinion, not just side stuff. But Tony, this was your number 2 as well. Go on.
Yeah. It's hard to talk about this without like context. Yeah. Well, I mean, even if I spoiled stuff, like people would be like, "Oh, sure, man."
It doesn't make any sense.
It wouldn't make any sense. So. But all I say is like they continued and did a good job of revealing layers of the onion. It's like, okay, we're going to answer this mystery. We're going to answer this plot line, this question that you have. But at the same time, introducing a new one that doesn't feel like, most of the time, there were a couple I wasn't happy with, but most of the time it was like, oh, okay, that is interesting. Like, that poses a new question, and that makes me hungry for more, right? Especially with some of the other characters that Jim alluded to as side characters, and I'm like, okay, well now I think it's a POV character, and just the crazy stuff that happens where it's like, oh, like Innie versus Audi, and what happens when an Innie falls in love with their Audi's spouse or something like that. It's like, what the fuck is going on? Like, it's such a crazy premise.
You know.
If you know, you know, and if you don't, you don't. But it's just crazy. This is a good form of like, hey, this is pretty original, at least to my knowledge. Could have been done somewhere else, but just kept me wanting to watch more. And the best I could say is that I was upset that, like, damn, as soon as I finished the season finale, I was like, I have to wait now for season 3, and that is the worst part.
Yeah.
Right. So.
Yeah. My concern for the next season, I'll say this on this podcast, is Ben Stiller is leaving. He's not working on this season. So
that's a cause
I'm concerned
for sure. Yeah,
I'm concerned. Yeah. So we'll see how they continue. So. All right, Mike, your number 2.
Here's Daredevil Born Again.
That's your number 2, huh? Cool.
Yeah, it's my number 2. It's the last true qualifier, but I'm cheating, like I said. So we talked about it a lot. It was my most anticipated. It half delivered for me, but that's enough for number 2.
Well, I mean, especially for you, you don't really get to watch TV. You made time to watch it, so that usually says something about a show.
Especially earlier in this year before I tried to cancel everything. But yeah, no, Daredevil's back. Netflix Daredevil. Some of those seasons are my favorite, like TV in recent years. And it did enough to make it feel like some of that. Just definitely liked seeing Daredevil and Kingpin going back at it in a somewhat believable new circumstance to bring them back together.
I mean, just D'Onofrio again reprising Kingpin, the character he loves. You can see he was all in on this. Didn't phone it in. So yeah, absolutely. Especially because they've been away so long. It's amazing you can just hit your stride again like that.
Yep.
Cool. Yeah. No, like I said, it was great first season back. I can't wait to see what they do this year for it.
Yep.
Because I think now it's not going to. Well, we're done talking about it at this point. Looking at the list. So, all right, Corey, you're number 2.
It's going to be a 3-way crossover with Last Samurai Standing.
Yeah,
it's my number 2.
Oh yeah.
That show was amazing, as you guys mentioned already. The one thing I would point out is I believe like the characters were so memorable and unique. Yeah. Each character had like a different quirk to them that just made them special in a way that you're like, oh, what are they gonna do with this guy next? And just everything about it.
Even once they got killed, you're like, you learn as they're battling. You're like, I'm learning about this guy. He's really awesome, and then they're dead. But still, it's like it's pretty awesome. Like
no, they make every character have some sort of interesting backstory or trait that's cool, and then there's this whole side story of this family that the main character leaves, and every one of them is cool, and like you want to learn more about them, and you grow so attached to these characters. Like that's what really impressed me the most about the show was obviously the choreography you said was great, the setting and the acting was amazing, but like the way that they built these characters up to have like to make you care for them, and even like the shinobi guy who's just kind of like out for himself, it seeming like, but he was helping them out, and
he's my favorite character, I think, just because
he was great. I'm like, this guy's awesome, like and you just want to see them succeed and do well, and they'd make the military police guys so evil looking and seeming, and it's like they just did a great job of placing you in the shoes of these characters and making you want to root for them, even though they are in tough situations, and not all of them are good.
Right.
But and then the old guy that's just like Michael Myers,
like the super monster. Yeah. One of the cool things I didn't mention was when you have a premise like this where it's like a killing game or whatever, and there are two characters you like or like to observe, right? And they meet, and you're like, oh man, like 2-man enter, 1-man leave, like. I'm gonna be a little upset either way, right? It's like, oh shoot, like
here comes this is the fight I don't want to watch, but I want to watch it.
But it's like, ooh, this is interesting. In particular, the one with the archer in the town, that was like super cool. Like I want to see that character a bit more too. So
yeah. No, it was like you said, every character is so memorable in this. Like even like characters that were on the screen for 3 minutes. So cool. All right, that brings us to our number 1 TV shows for 2025. I'm going to premise my number 1 with the fact that there's a show out there. There's a show out there that can unite 2 different fandoms of a universe. An old school fan and somebody who wants to see something new. And I want to see something new as well. But Andor was my number 1 show of 2025 by far. It was the first thing I wrote down when I started my list.
Yeah, it was number 1 for me as well. It was top of the list. It was easy. I was like, all right, well, number 1's gone. So
yeah, it's such a build up from season 1 to the season and season 2. I'm sorry, this was season 3, right? This was season 3.
No, 2.
This is 2.
There's only 2
seasons. This was a time jump. This is only one over 4 years. So there was such a build up that I was hoping not to be disappointed, because like season 1 I loved so much that I was like, oh please don't disappoint me. This show did not at all disappoint. You talk about ups and downs for a show. I don't think this had any downs in my opinion. I liked every part of season 2 the entire time. All of the characters. People that wanted to make you angry got you angry in the show. You're like, what are you doing? And just even knowing where we're going with these characters in the end, you still enjoy it. Like it's unbelievable how they can tug at your heartstrings, get your pulse racing while you're watching it too. And it's just like they delivered so well with this show. Like absolutely nailed it. Seasons 1 and 2, it is. I mean, probably the best version of Star Wars that we've gotten to see since the original Star Wars, like Empire and stuff like that. If not, maybe better. It's tough to tell it, but that's for me. It's my number 1 show. It's my number 1 show. It's great. So, Tony, you were number 1 as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard to quantify just how good this is because, in my opinion, Andor season 1 was already like one of the best pieces of Star Wars medium like that we ever had. And going to season 2, I'm like, man, how are they gonna like follow this up? How are they gonna, there's no way they could top this, right? There's no way you can even match the quality. And I feel they did, right? And it's such a hard bar, right? Because they knew going like, oh, we were really successful. We got awards, this, that, and the other thing. And it's like, okay, well, let's do our best. And I would argue, in some ways, it's better in terms of connecting the dots to making the Empire really feel truly evil. Because I don't know, in my opinion, most Star Wars media does not portray the Empire as like anything more than mustache twirling Saturday morning cartoon villains, right? It's just like
they're oppressive, but you really couldn't understand it.
Right. You're told, you're not shown. And Andor really goes into the show aspect, and you're like, wow, this is super fucked up. And in a time where we're actually experiencing this, unfortunately, or degrees of this in the real world, I think it's more important than ever to see something like this, where it's, you know, oppression and violence from a powerful organization doesn't have to be outright, like, it doesn't have to be outright, like, shooting, bombing, stuff like that. It absolutely is included in there, but there are like, other versions that you can inflict violence upon a people. And I think Andor really illustrated that depressingly well, because you watch this, you see how they impact these planets and these civilizations. You're like, oh, like, I've never had to think about that type of stuff before. In Star Wars, it was mostly like, we're on Tatooine, we're on Endor. It's like, ooh, little teddy bears and stuff like that. It's like,
the thing is, like, you never got the Empire's, like, point of view much. We did, but we got, like, Darth Vader, and we didn't get, like, the nitty gritty of it, which we got in this show. Yeah. Even in, like, Mandalorian, we haven't seen that. You know what I mean? Like, this is the show that delivered it. Yeah.
Right, and absolutely. And the other part too is it shows the dark side of the Republic, the rebellion as well. There are parts where you're like, you're rooting for this character because you know, like, he's on the side of good, right? Ultimately, but he has to do a lot of bad stuff to keep that going. And there's this one part, and I'm not going to spoil, where I knew what was going on. I saw it coming. I'm just like, man, that sucks. Like, that's unfortunate. But yeah, it's arguably better than a Star Wars show. Like, if that makes sense. Like, I would recommend Andor season 1 and season 2 to anybody. Like, if you were like, I don't like Star Wars, I'm like, I don't care. Watch a show. Like, I could sell you on this. I could sell you on this. You
need to watch this show.
You'll enjoy it.
It's definitely a must watch. I just remembered my only gripe is, man, he was such an ass to his robot.
He was. Yeah, he left him behind.
Like, that was so sad.
Yeah, that was sad.
Yeah. I just, asking for Andor, and he leaves him behind. Hopefully, I don't know. But that was my gripe with it. But, it was just such an incredible... Amazing that a show like this, when it was announced about Cassian Andor, I'm like, oh, that was the guy from Rogue... I was like, who is that? I'm like, the guy from Rogue One, who we don't remember his name.
And that's the thing, is, like, he became, probably one of my favorite characters of the universe now. And I remember specifically when they announced that, I was like, they're making it, like, because I didn't really care about him in Rogue One. Like, it was like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, it definitely, knowing what you know, it improves his character.
Oh, absolutely, 100%.
To watch it now. Yeah, I've actually watched it again. And I'm like, yeah. So it's just such a great show. Great show, and it sucks that it obviously had to end. There's an ending, so it can't just continue on, and it just sucks because they finally found that hit. But
and that's fine. I just hope the rest of LucasArts, Lucasfilms can learn from it and apply it to.
It definitely helps the concise story. Don't get me wrong.
Yes,
I like the concise story. All right,
what would you say, real quick, like, if you got like backstory of a character, like similar to Andor, what character would you hope for, Jim? A show about?
What do you mean? Like, explain that better. What do you? I'm not sure what you're asking.
Andor, like, we saw Andor in Rogue One, and we got a prequel series for him. What prequel series would you want?
So another character I saw on
in Star Wars,
just general Star Wars,
any character. Like to see I'm saying, like, you said, oh, let's hope LucasArts learns and, like, we can get more, so something like this. Like, who would you want? Like General Grievous? Like, who?
No, I mean, you don't need this. I'm not talking about sub-character. I'm talking the style of the show. I'm sorry. I meant, like, the styling of the show.
I'm not trying to say you're wrong. I'm just asking what you think. Like, who would you, like, we got another show about a character.
I was picking out. I was just thinking, like, I want a show that's like this, which is about a character I don't know anything about.
But Corey is saying if they learned the wrong lesson from this and decided they needed to do a prequel series on an existing character, who would you choose?
Okay. All right. Gosh, I don't know. I don't want to delay the show thinking about it right now.
I put you on the spot. That's fine.
Mike, do your number one. I'll think about it. Go ahead. Do your number one. Let me come back to it.
Me? My number one?
Yeah. Mike, your number one.
My number one is cheating because I expressly said we shouldn't count it for this year because it's not done. But if you go on IMDb, it'll probably say 2025 next to it. And I also, instead of binging other shows that I should have over this week, I instead just watched 2 episodes of this show. I'm going to, and it's not done. It could break my heart again, but I'm saying
it show up again this year.
Fallout Season 2. Fallout Season 2 is my favorite show I've watched so far this year, even though I've watched most of it in 2026, but I started in 2025. Yeah, obviously we still have 3 episodes to watch, but the first 5 have been better than I think Fallout Season 1. Um, it's been exciting to see the New Vegas setting. We're getting some new reveals and some momentum here. The worst character is kind of sidelined, although he still does something. Um, and yeah, just a lot of good references to the game and the world that those who know will know. But if you don't know, it doesn't matter because it's very well self-contained in the universe, and it's just got the style. The music is good.
Everything is so good
parts
about the show.
where they use a cue from the game, even for like a certain
theme jingle
faction.
Yeah.
You hear, you're like, okay, all right. So everything's been good.
It's good when you can have a show that can honor the original material well and like give little nods to fans, but like you said, like it doesn't matter if it's still really cool.
So
this most recent
going to be interesting though, Mike, is my prediction is this will also be your number 1 for 2026.
Yeah, I think
we'll see. I don't know if I'm gonna allow that for myself, but maybe it depends on what
it's
I
fine.
watch.
It is what it is.
But
cool.
We'll see. We'll see how I am putting myself.
It depends
out there,
on how it
because,
ends, right? I
yeah,
guess
3 more episodes. It could disappoint again. This is about the same place where I was real hyped for Daredevil before I got a little disappointed with how it ended. So we'll see. But and the ending of the first season was okay in my mind. That wasn't the best part of it. So there is a little reasonable doubt, but I still think so far it's been so much better than everything else I've watched this year. It's got to be my number 1.
Cool.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Corey, your number 1.
All right, my number 1 could have been my biggest disappointment because of the things that happened with this show. It could also was slotted as was my surprise until I was like, well, I want everything to be different.
You don't have to be, but go on. Yeah.
Here as my number 1, and that is The Wheel of Time Season 3.
Ooh,
that
crazy! Wow, you really—I remember you talking about it like crazy.
It blew my mind how much of a U-turn, 180 they did on this show. Like the first season of that show was
I know
it was the worst. It was terrible. It was a travesty. And then they're like, you know what? Screw it. We can't do the books. We're gonna make it our own thing. And when you start looking at it as its own thing, and it's like, oh, this is just a different turning of the wheel, if so to speak, and you look at it as that way, this show was amazing. This season was amazing, and it's the best it has ever been. It could have been my disappointment because they canceled it right after it ended with a crazy cliffhanger type of, not cliffhanger, but like a crazy moment where you're like, damn, I can't wait to see what's happening next, because if you read the books, but if you don't read the books and you don't know, you see this whole end thing coming to be, you're like, oh my goodness,
story just
ends. Can't wait to see what's happening. And yeah, they finally found their groove here with this show, and the characters have more meaning. They feel like they have purpose now, and they're more likable, and just like they definitely were like, all right, we know what we're doing. We got this going here, and we're gonna do well and do good by the fans. And then they canceled it. But it was like for a single season of this show, it met and exceeded all of my expectations, and was a really cool way, because if you read the books, you're like, oh, okay, I know what's gonna happen. Then they like flip it on its head, and you're like, oh my god, they totally switched certain characters. Like there's a huge impact on how the books will continue going forward, or the show would have continued going forward, because of certain characters sequencing the way that their stories, they flipped them, and so you're like, how is this gonna work? And so it's like you're so curious about what are they gonna do here, but now we will never know.
It sucks it got canceled. Yeah, because I'm not even hyping it up. So, all right. Well, hey, that's still Corey's number 1. So, that's going to do it for this episode. I can recap us real quick for our top 3 for 2025. So these are top 3 TV shows. Mine was Last Samurai Standing, Severance, and Andor. Mike's was Stranger Things Season 5, Daredevil, and Fallout. Corey's was Daredevil, Last Samurai Standing in real time, and Tony's was a clone of mine. Last Samurai Standing. I can't believe it happened. Last Standing, because we do have overlap always.
We have
but
overlap.
We never have order.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So Last Samurai, Severance, and Andor. That's going to be it. I will mention right now, spin-off character I would like to see a show for, Mon Mothma. Just by herself.
Ooh, that would actually be pretty cool. That would be pretty cool.
Yep. It took me a second. I had to look at some characters, and I went through some lists, and I'm like, that's it right there. I think we saw some of her in Andor, and I'd love to see some more story from her as we go through for her story, because hers was pretty interesting from that show. She's all throughout Star Wars and the Rebellion. So, cool. That's gonna wrap up this episode of our favorite TV of 2025. So, hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for the Gamecast coming up next. Plus, if you're listening to this, I'm going to type it next week is our Games of the Year as well. So, like I said, stay tuned for the Gamecast. We'll see you over there. We are out.